Your delay is not your denial. You ever feel like you're doing everything right, but still stuck in the same place? Like you're grinding, praying, showing up, and life still has you in the waiting room. Let me tell you something real. Delay will mess with your mind if you let it. It'll make you think you're forgotten. It'll whisper lies like, you're not good enough, you missed your shot, or it's never gonna happen. But hear me loud and clear. Your delay is not your denial. Just because it hasn't come yet doesn't mean it's not on the way. There's a difference between being delayed and being denied, but too many people confuse the two. When something doesn't happen when we expect it, we immediately think something's wrong. We start doubting ourselves. We start questioning if the dream was even meant for us. We look around and see other people succeeding, and we ask, why not me? But delay is not a sign that you've been forgotten. It's not proof that your prayer didn't reach heaven. Sometimes it's just proof that the timing ain't right yet. You've got to understand that the journey to anything worthwhile isn't instant. We live in a world where people want overnight results, instant money, instant fame, instant success. But that's not how real purpose works. What's meant for you will come to you, but it will come when you're ready for it. And just because it hasn't come yet doesn't mean it's not already on the way. Some blessings take longer because they're being custom, built for the life you're going to live, not the one you're living in right now. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. It just feels like that sometimes because the world celebrates people who are winning in public. But it doesn't show you the years they spent waiting in private. It doesn't show you the late nights, the quiet tears, the sacrifices, the doubts, the moments they almost quit. Delay is part of every success story. You just don't see that chapter on Instagram, but it's there. Everybody who's ever achieved anything meaningful has walked through a season where nothing seemed to be moving, but they kept going anyway. That's what you've got to do. You've got to stop assuming that slow progress means no progress. Stop thinking the silence means rejection. Sometimes the quiet seasons are the most important ones because that's where your roots grow. That's where your character is developed. That's where your patience gets tested. That's where your faith gets real. Anybody can believe when things are moving, but can you keep believing when nothing around you looks like what you prayed for? Can you keep showing up when everything inside you is screaming to give up? See, what delay really does is reveal your mindset. It exposes whether you want success or if you're ready for it. Some people only love the idea of the dream. They're not committed to the process. But delay filters that out. Delay separates the curious from the committed. The people who fold at the first sign of waiting weren't built for the weight of what they were asking for. And that's okay. But you've got to decide which one you are. There's a version of your future that is still unfolding. You can't see it, but it's coming. Every time you take a step forward, every time you choose discipline over distraction, every time you choose faith over fear, you're moving closer to it. It might not be visible yet, but it's in motion. Don't confuse the silence with absence. Don't confuse the delay with denial. What's for you is still for you. But if you let impatience rob you, you might walk away from something that was right around the corner. You've got to trust the process, even when the progress isn't loud. You've got to believe that just because it's taking time doesn't mean it's not worth it. Some of the best things in life come slow because they're solid. And when it finally comes, it's going to be worth every minute you waited, every tear you cried, every moment you wondered if it was ever going to happen. You are not forgotten. You are being prepared. And that delay is just setting the stage for a blessing too big to rush. You're asking for something big, something life-changing. But with big dreams comes big responsibility, and that's the part nobody likes to talk about. Everybody wants the reward, but not everybody's ready for the weight that comes with it. That's why delay isn't always a punishment. It's a setup. It's a season where you're being strengthened and stretched so that when the opportunity shows up, you don't just take it, you keep it. There's a difference between receiving a blessing and being able to carry it. And if you're not prepared, that blessing can turn into a burden real fast. We think we're ready because we've been waiting, but waiting alone doesn't equal preparation. It's what you do while you wait that determines whether or not you're ready. If you're complaining more than you're developing, you're not preparing. You're delaying your own breakthrough. This season of delay might feel frustrating, but it's where your roots are growing. It's where you learn how to stay grounded. It's where your patience is tested, your mindset is refined, and your character gets molded. Because the truth is, talent can open a door, but character is what keeps you in the room. Some of the things you're praying for require a version of you that you haven't become yet. You want the platform, but do you have the discipline? You want the business to blow up, but can you manage pressure, criticism, long nights, and setbacks without folding? You want love, but are you emotionally whole enough not to ruin it when it shows up? Sometimes the delay is less about the opportunity and more about the you who's going to receive it. We live in a world that celebrates speed, but speed without preparation leads to collapse. You can rise fast and still fall just as quick if your foundation ain't right. That's why this slow season matters. That's why you're not being overlooked. You're being equipped. You're learning things now that you'll need when the doors fly open. You're being taught how to lead without a title, how to stay focused without applause, how to manage pressure without cracking. These are the lessons that can't be skipped if you want to succeed for the long haul. Too many people pray for rain and then complain when they get muddy. They ask for growth, but resist the process that growth requires. See, the process is always longer than the moment. The moment of success is quick. It's the spotlight, the celebration. But the process, that's the real test. That's where you learn endurance. That's where your mindset either expands or collapses. And if you want long-term success, you've got to master the part that no one sees. The hidden work, the late nights, the unglamorous grind. Don't let impatience rush you into something you're not ready to sustain. Don't compare your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 30. You don't know what kind of battles they had to fight in their delay season. Stay focused on your own growth. Ask yourself, am I becoming the person who can handle what I'm praying for? That's the real question. Because when you grow into that person, the delay no longer feels like punishment. It feels like purpose. One day the opportunity will show up. The call will come. The door will open. And when it does, everything you're learning right now will make sense. Every moment you wanted to quit, every silent season where you felt overlooked, every time you question why it was taking so long, it will all click. You'll realize you weren't being held back. You were being built up. The blessing was always yours. But now, so is the strength to carry it. There's a big difference between no and not yet. But if you're not careful, you'll confuse the two. You'll hear silence and assume rejection. You'll see doors staying closed and think you've been denied. But in reality, it might just not be the right time. That's where patience and perspective come in. See, when life tells you not yet, it's not pushing you away. It's pulling you into alignment. Some things you're praying for are absolutely meant for you, but they're scheduled for a different season. And if you try to force it early, you might get it before it's ready or before you are. Not yet is one of the hardest things to accept because it feels like nothing's happening. It feels like you're being ignored, overlooked, forgotten. But not yet is actually a gift. It means the answer is still alive. It means the opportunity hasn't been taken off the table. It's still in motion, still coming together, still being built behind the scenes. You just can't see it yet. And when you can't see it, the enemy loves to whisper that it's not coming, that you've been denied, that you should just settle. But settling for something now that's smaller than what's meant for you later is one of the biggest mistakes you could ever make. Sometimes life delays your dream to develop your discernment, to test if you can tell the difference between a distraction and a destiny. Because when you're tired of waiting, everything that shows up looks like a good idea. But not everything is sent to bless you. Some things are sent to see if you'll break, and not yet is that divine pause that keeps you from grabbing what looks good but ain't built for your future. You might be ready to walk into the promise, but the promise might not be ready to receive you yet. There are people you haven't met, resources you haven't touched, experiences you haven't walked through, all still in motion, all still preparing to meet you at the right time. Not yet is not the end of the story. It's the space where everything is lining up so it can stay in your life, not just pass through it. So don't panic in the pause. Don't let impatience make you sabotage what's still in development. That relationship you've been waiting for, that breakthrough, that open door, it's still on the way. But timing matters. The right thing at the wrong time becomes the wrong thing. You could step into a good opportunity too early and miss the greatness that was meant for you later. Just because it looks like others are winning while you wait doesn't mean you've been left behind. They're just in a different chapter. You're not late. You're on your own clock. Not yet teaches you how to trust. Not just in the outcome, but in yourself. Can you trust your vision when nothing around you reflects it? Can you hold on to belief when the wait gets long and heavy? That's the real test. And if you pass it, if you stay faithful during the not yet, you'll find out it wasn't a delay at all. It was alignment. It was preparation. It was timing. When it finally comes, and it will come, you'll look back at this season and say, I get it now. You'll see how it all had to happen this way. How every not yet protected you, prepared you, and positioned you for something bigger than you imagined. So don't confuse the pause with the end. The promise is still alive. Your yes is still out there. You just have to be strong enough, wise enough, and patient enough to wait for the right time. Because not yet always beats not meant. There's nothing worse than getting something too soon and losing it because you weren't ready. Everybody wants the blessing, but very few think about the weight that blessing carries. We pray for increase, for promotion, for recognition, but if we're not built to handle it, it'll crush us instead of elevate us. A blessing delivered before its time can feel like a curse. That's why sometimes the delay you're experiencing is protection. It's a divine pause to make sure you're not just able to receive the thing you've been asking for, but that you can handle it when it comes. You don't want success you can't sustain. You don't want a platform that your character can't support. If the pressure of the position outweighs the maturity of the person, everything falls apart. Think about it. How many people have you seen blow up overnight and burn out just as fast? How many marriages fall apart because they were based on excitement, not stability? How many careers crumble because the foundation wasn't ready for the spotlight? That's not a lack of opportunity. It's a lack of preparation, a lack of patience, a desire to have something now instead of being shaped to carry it for the long haul. What you're going through right now might be frustrating, but it's not a waste. It's weight training. It's stretching you, teaching you how to lead without applause, teaching you how to stay focused without recognition, teaching you how to move with intention instead of emotion. That way, when your moment finally arrives, you don't lose it trying to figure it out on the fly. You'll already be built for it. See, everybody wants the blessing to arrive, but the wise ones, they want to be ready when it does. It's not just about what you're asking for. It's about who you are when it shows up. If you get what you prayed for and your identity isn't solid, you'll attach your worth to the outcome. And the moment that success shakes, so will you. That's why the delay is necessary. It's time to learn that your value isn't in what you have, but in who you are. That way, whether you're up or down, you stay steady, you stay grounded, you stay grateful. Premature success doesn't just hurt you, it hurts the people around you too. If you walk into leadership without humility, people suffer. If you step into influence without integrity, people get missiled. If you build a business or a brand without the backbone to support it, people get burned out and disappointed. This is why timing matters. This is why the process is so important. It's not punishment, it's protection. It's grace. Because when the blessing finally hits, it's going to affect more than just you. And if you're ready, it won't just be a moment, it'll be a movement. So don't rush it. Don't try to force what's not ready. Don't cut corners just to feel ahead. If it hasn't happened yet, there's a reason. If the door hasn't opened, it's not because you're being ignored. It's because you're still being equipped. That means when it does happen, it'll be real. It'll be solid. It'll last. Because it came in the right season, to the right version of you, with the right mindset to protect it. You don't want it too early. You want it when it's right. You want it when your hands are strong enough to hold it and your heart is wise enough not to worship it. You want the kind of blessing that doesn't break you. It builds you. And that kind only comes after the delay. Not because you're being denied, but because you're being prepared for something that's too good to rush. When everything around you feels still, silent, and slow, that's when your faith gets tested the most. Delay has a way of pressing on your patience like nothing else can. It whispers doubt into your mind, plays tricks on your confidence, and makes you question if what you're hoping for is even real. But this season of waiting, of wondering, of holding on through the quiet, it's doing something powerful inside you. It's building you. It's shaping your endurance. And endurance is what separates those who only dream from those who actually arrive. You can't get strength without resistance. That's just how it works. If everything came easy, you'd never develop the muscles to carry what's coming. The silent seasons, the ones where it feels like no progress is being made, those are the training grounds. That's where your spirit learns how to stand without applause, how to believe without evidence, and how to keep going without guarantees. It's easy to keep pushing when you can see results. It's a whole different level of maturity to keep grinding when you can't. That's where real faith kicks in. Not when everything's falling into place, but when nothing is, and you keep showing up anyway. See, most people quit in the middle. They start strong, full of energy, excitement, and belief. But when it drags out longer than they expected, when the results don't show up on their timeline, they begin to retreat. They stop praying, stop planning, stop putting in effort. But the truth is, the middle is the most important part, because that's where the shaping happens. That's where discipline gets born. That's where your endurance is developed. And without endurance, you'll never make it to the end. Delay is like a refiner's fire. It burns off the surface stuff, the ego, the impatience, the entitlement. It strips all of that away until what's left is pure, steady, and strong. You begin to learn that your worth isn't tied to speed, that your calling doesn't disappear just because it's taking time. You begin to trust that slow progress is still progress, and that silence is not the same as absence. When you go through that process, you come out on the other side with grit, with a backbone, with the kind of strength that doesn't crumble under pressure. And that kind of strength only comes from walking through the fire and refusing to give up. You've got to hold on when it's hard. That's the whole game. That's the difference maker, not talent, not connections, not even timing. It's who can keep showing up when it's uncomfortable, when it's quiet, when there's no cheering section. That's what the delay is really testing. It's asking, how bad do you want it? Are you still in when it's not exciting? When it's not pretty? When it feels like nothing's moving? Because if you can answer yes to that, if you can keep showing up anyway, you're already further than most. And when the moment finally does come, when the opportunity breaks through, you'll walk into it with a strength that nobody can take from you. Because you earned it. You didn't skip steps. You didn't fold under pressure. You didn't run from the quiet. You learned how to endure. And that endurance becomes your foundation. It becomes your superpower. So when challenges come later, and they will, you won't be shaken. You'll already know how to stand. Don't curse the delay. Let it train you. Let it teach you what most people never learn. How to keep going with no spotlight, no applause, and no guarantee. Because if you can pass that test, there's not a blessing on earth you won't be ready for. Endurance turns dreamers into doers. And delay, that's just the gym where it's built. There will come a moment, maybe months or even years after all the silence and struggle, when everything clicks into place. That opportunity you kept believing for will finally show up. That door you kept knocking on will swing wide open. And when it does, it'll be clearer than ever why it took the time it did. See, life has a funny way of hiding purpose inside of pain. It doesn't always explain itself while you're going through it. But when it's all said and done, when you're standing in the middle of what you used to pray for, you'll see it all different. The delays, the detours, the denials, they weren't working against you. They were working for you. You'll look back at the people who walked away and realize they had to. You'll remember the jobs you didn't get and see how they would have boxed you in. You'll replay the long nights, the doubts, the almost, and realize every no was leading to a better wise. Sometimes we don't understand the protection we're being given until the blessing finally lands in our hands. When it does, it humbles you. It silences the complaints you used to have. You stop asking, why did it take so long? And you start saying, thank God it didn't come a second earlier. Because now you're different. You're not just receiving the blessing, you're ready for it. You're not just walking through the door, you've been built to own the room. All the waiting developed something in you that the destination required. The you from back then couldn't have handled what's in front of you now. That version might have fumbled it, might have let ego get in the way, might have sabotaged it from a place of fear, insecurity, or lack of maturity. But this version, the one who kept going, kept growing, kept showing up with faith, even when it hurt. That's the version that's built to carry what's coming. And when it comes, it's going to feel different than you imagine. It won't just be about success, it'll be about peace. It'll be about alignment. You won't feel like you had to hustle your soul away to get there. You'll feel like you were carried to it by something bigger than you, because you were. And that's why the delay makes sense in hindsight. It gave you time to heal, time to develop, time to step fully into who you were designed to be. You'll also realize it wasn't just about you. Your journey, the delay, the lessons, the resilience, it's going to help somebody else one day. Somebody who's on the verge of giving up. Somebody who feels like they're behind. When you open your mouth and say, I've been there too, it's going to carry weight because you didn't just read about it. You lived it. You survived it. And now you've got something real to offer. That's legacy. That's purpose. That's bigger than just getting what you wanted. So don't curse this season just because it doesn't make sense yet. The clarity is coming. And when it does, it won't just explain the delay. It'll redeem it. Every tear, every rejection, every lonely night will suddenly feel worth it because you'll realize nothing was wasted. Not one moment. It all played a part in getting you to the right place with the right mindset at the right time. When it happens, don't be surprised. Be ready. When the moment comes, step into it fully. Don't hesitate. Don't shrink. You've already paid the price. You've already earned your spot. Now walk in with boldness and humility, knowing that your time didn't pass you by. It was just waiting for you to become who you needed to be. That's not just a comeback. That's divine timing. And when it hits, it'll make all the waiting finally make sense. So now you see, delay is not defeat, and waiting is not wasting. Every setback, every silent season, every unanswered prayer was part of the plan. What felt like a pause was really preparation. What looked like rejection was actually redirection. And when the promise finally shows up, it will fit so perfectly, so powerfully, that you'll know without a doubt it was worth the wait. Your delay was never your denial. It was your setup for something greater than you imagined.